Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick and I'm from IGS Electronics, and today we're going to be continuing with S300 series PLC setup that we've got in here. Today's task is to have a look at wiring of inputs and outputs. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to go through both the cards itself, which is in general, most of the cards, it's about 60-70% of the time, those cards are used. So those are the ones we're going to be checking out today, is how to pretty much wire them and have a look a little bit in TIA Portal of how to have a look at their inputs and outputs in a little bit about what they call a monitoring mode, to see where they are, how to identify them, and what bits are being assigned, bits or bytes are being assigned to these inputs, so you can monitor them or check them out, possibly as well program if you wish to. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the last video where we already did the hardware configuration and talked through about the full all CPU and things like that, definitely check out the previous video, which is going to be part of the S300 series PLC's playlist. So do check it out if you wish to have a look at it. So yeah, and all related manuals and anything I would believe would benefit you pressure way, it's going to be a video in the description below. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Alright ladies and gentlemen, so this is our stations pretty much is all wired in, ready to go. We're going to be talking through that in a minute, but we are going to be creating some real life possibilities in a field. So we're going to be using for our training today, which is going to be our, we've got a start-stop station in here. I'm not going to use the lid, it's just the buttons in here, which are the Schneider Electric, I think it's XB5 series switches. So we're also going to be using a ABB SC350 355 ACS 355 drive. We also have a live motor is connected to it. So what we're going to be doing today, we are going to be making the drive from the PLC. We'll be sending a signal to the drive to start up the motor. So and as we progress with the videos, we're going to be adding more from this drive with analogs and things like that as well as we progress. So we have a start-stop station and we have a drive that's going to be operating at the motor. So the drives, all the drives in most of the drives can, well, I think all of them, I haven't seen one that doesn't have it, can receive external 24-volt DC signals to start up their IOs. So as long as you use their COM, every drive should have a COM with it, so which can receive the negative part of it. So and the plus will go back as a normal digital input. So that's for the drive. Some other day we're going to talk about it. So we're going to be talking about today. Let me just zoom in. So let's zoom in. We've got a couple of cards in here that we will talk about. And the one today we're going to talk about is this IO card in here. So before we get started, I quickly show you this is the single card. This card is like coming a part of the unit in here. So and it's got 32 points, and it's got one side the digital inputs and one side the digital outputs. So this one in here is all digital inputs, and this one in here is all digital outputs. So usually you will have these leads come with it. So inside the leads, more or less it gives you the wiring diagram. Unfortunately for this guy, I lost the lid, so we're gonna have to go through without the lid. So and it is quite problematic to find a wiring diagram online for specific cards, unless I don't know how to look for it. I was struggling to find specific to print out to show it to you, so I'll have to talk you through it. So in here, as you can see, it's got a this digital digital output card. It's 24-volt DC out, and it says in here ½ amp. If you need more amps to come out per output, so there's different cards, there's different voltages and things like that. So you can check if you get some, I'll show you some. But there is option to go all the way, I think, to 3 amps. If you so need to. So as you can see in here, you got a 1 M. M will always stand for a negative of your power supply, and 1 in here is this is your power. This looks like a indication of the power supply. Plus goes to 1, and 1M comes to which is going to be your minus. So from there on, as you can see, then it's just like a little transistor in there, and then it says it's outputting on each one of them, and as the program will execute the output, it will output 24-volt DC signal. So all you need to do, 1 is a plus, 10 is a minus, or you go next second group, you get 11 a plus, and you get a 20 as a minus. So and again the same principle will be outputting as outputs comes on. So the next one, so digital input, let me just take the lid off without breaking it. So there we go. So the next one for the inputs, number 1 is not used at all, because that's more or less is reserved for other things, which you can show in a minute. So in here, as you can see, the 20 in here, which is going to be this guy right down here, will be your minus from your power supply. That is digital input. So the 20 is going to be your minus, and then all the pluses, as you can see, power supply goes through the switches, external switches, which I have stationed right here. Those are going to be my switches, and then they're just sending 24-volt signals back onto all the inputs in there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on, all card. Sometimes you will see the card that these inputs are separated, and sometimes most of the times they're going to be like that. So it will indicate which one you need to put in, which is plus and which is minus going back. So like minus 20 in here, so always has to be permanent minus there. So basically you power up the card. It works like a lamp. Now if you look at if you ever did the lighting circuit, it literally works identical to that. So when it comes down to this one, unfortunately I've got no diagram to show it to you, but I will run through you. So digital outputs in here, so it's got actually 2 sections. So 1 section of outputs and 2 sections. So it's literally the same as this one in here. So 1 is going to be our 24-volt DC supply. So that's where my wire going in, 24 volts going in, and 10. In my case is 30 in here, so that will be my minus in there. So now all these outputs have been powered and they're ready to output 24-volt DC. So when it comes down to input side, which is this side in here, as you can see, one of them is lit already, and because I'm not using the power supply that's powered by my powering my CPU. So to see, if I turn off the CPU, as you can see, my card is displaying the input is on. So that means it pretty much tell you can use all sorts of different power supplies for different cards if you wish to. So you don't have to have the same ones. You can use different power supplies for different cards if you wish to. So when it comes down to fault finding, you need to identify which card is powered by which power supply, so you can do the better fault finding. So this card actually, this part 1 in here does require 24-volt DC supply in here. So for the inputs. So probably to power up the card or to give some. I'm not sure what it is for, but it is probably a reason for it, and I'm not sure why. So 1 will be 24-volt DC going to it, and then obviously the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all the way to the bottom. As you can see, my bottom one is the same as this card in here, which is as you can see, the M20 in here. My M20 is minus in here. M20 receives my minus, and 1 receives a plus. And then obviously I have my start button coming back here with 24-volt DC. I've got another power supply going to my buttons, power supply, the DC plus power supply going to my buttons. Do make sure the power supply that goes to the buttons is the same power supply that's powering your M20 down here, and the power as well. So do make sure that is coming from the same source. So I've got a start coming to a 2 and a stop coming to 3. Pretty straightforward. And I have output, as you can see down there, my output at 22 is going directly to the drive. So again, this 24-volt signal that's going to come out from this card, make sure that the COM that is sent to the drive is the same power supply source. Otherwise it will not work, because it'll be different. You'll be receiving one cable from one power supply and a cable from the other power supply, and it's not going to work. So yeah, so now that we wired up, as you can see that we just started up. No, don't want to do that yet. So as you can see, we can see some I got some programming there, but we're going to start from scratch in a minute how to get ourselves programming. So once we done the wiring, I think wiring is quite straightforward. So hopefully I have covered everything, gives you good understanding how this works. So what we're going to do now, let's jump on to TIA Portal and create a very simple small program. So let's get ourselves starting. This is going to be continuations from previous video. We already had done our hardware configuration. So let's open up our PLC. So, and we're going to do, let's go into the program blocks first. So let's open that one up. So we're going to be programming, starting programming in our OB1. When it chooses to start up, taking his time. Usually when you start up the TIA Portal, at least on my laptop, it takes once it gets him gets himself in a good gear, then it goes pretty fast. But as you can see, I just opened up the TIA Portal and it's taking his time to do a lot of bits and pieces for me. So so another thing we're going to open up is our PLC tags. We're going to go and just work. We're going to work today. We're not going to change any names. We're just going to work with the default table. And what we're going to do in here, we're going to split the screen. So and we are going to open up device configuration, and not in this screen. We are messing up in here. We are messing up in here. Come on. It's taking its time. So did he open? There we go. So there we go. Open up. As I said, once the system gets into the gear, at least for my laptop, it's good. So what we're gonna do in here, we're gonna sort of zoom in. So ooh, not meant to do that. So now we can see our PLC and we can see our tags. Now, if you want to, the easiest way to get yourself started, if you wish to do it this way. Again, many different people do it different ways. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna zoom in a little bit. So we want to zoom into this card. Let's go and go in quite close. There we go. So all the system shows up. So let's just move that way. So as you can see, this is the card we want to work with. So let's get a bit closer. Why not? Let's see how close. Here we go. So this is how close you're gonna get. So as you can see down there, ooh, come on. This is why I like TIA Portal. It's fairly easy to work with and then find out exactly what you're looking for. And my system is slow. So let's create some tags. So my digital input in here. So all you need to do, you can go in here and type it all up, or you can just drag, like me, being lazy. So we're gonna call that. There we go. Come on. So my system is slow. Do apologize. So we're gonna call that one as start. So then we're gonna take another digital input, this guy in here, and we're gonna call that one as a stop. And as you can see, these names are appearing down here. It's really fairly easy. So okay, so God, my system is slow today. Stop. And we also need output, so we're going to use this output. Remember, we already with this card in here. This is where we wired everything, so we're going to take that output and we're going to put that in here. So and then we're going to do I don't know, inverter start. That sounds good. Yeah, it does. So the next, let's go onto this screen now that we've done that. So and then you can literally kind of tag up everything if you wish to. So another way to tag, if you know exactly what all these things is going to be, you can go into the double clicking on the card itself, go into properties, try not to drag out time there, and when you go in all your addresses, so you can find out all your addresses and where they are. So sort of from start to end address and end address, and also you can go in all your tags. And when you're in all your tags, you can literally type them all up in here if you wish to. Literally, you can do that if you know what they all are, or you can be lazy like me and do like I do. So let's remove that for a little bit. So what's the next thing what we're going to do? Oh, we let's go back to a main OB1. So yep. What happened to our main OB1? No, this one. Here we go. Why is he playing with us? There we go. So from there on, we're going to create a small program. So we need a start. And because we are using normally close contact, we're going to need another normally open contact there. And we're going to put a coil. And we are going to do a latch. So it's going to be like that. So, and then we need another contact. And let's just join this guy up. There we go. So that's it. And then what you can do, if you're lazy like me, there's a couple of ways you can do it. So you just go onto it and then just look on the list. So you can click start in here. Come on, my system is just really slow. So, oh, you can literally drag and put them in there. It's entirely up to you. As I said, the options are there for you to play around, just to make your life easier. As I said, to program with the Siemens PLC, Siemens TIA Portal is a very, very simple. And I mean, over the years they evolved quite a bit, so I kind of like it, enjoy it. So there we go. That's just a very basic latching circuit. So once we all that done, we're just gonna pump it into the system in our PLC, and we're gonna go and check it out how that works. So come on, it's taking his time. I don't know why. Again, don't usually take it that long. Why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? So right, there we go. So we are going to override our main OB1 inside the PLC. And that is done. So once you've done that, hopefully this is giving you a good idea, good understanding how to get yourself going and moving. So again, don't forget that you can do all the tags already just by clicking on the card, properties, and here we go. And so you can start naming them all in here if you wish to. And they're already, as you can see, they're already being assigned to all the IOs. All the addressing is already there. All you need to do is name them and start programming. So let's get back to PLC and get this thing started up. Here we are. So trying to get as much as in the camera as I can from the height that I've got in here. So actually we need to see the screen in here with our inverter drive. So there's a start button in here. And as you can see, the output has come on, sending a 24-volt signal to the drive. Drive goes on and now operates our what's it called, the motor. We're going to be adding later on a bit more extras into the system. So as you can see down here, actually, I've got my E-stop down here, which completely shuts down the system. So so yeah, we're going to be adding quite a bit into that program for safeties and things like that, maybe in the future. But the next video, we're going to jump up and have a look at the analogs. We're going to take the analog from this guy, our analog output from this guy, send it back into the drive. So sort of show you basically we're going to be checking out analogs. That's what we're going to be doing in the next video, and that will start with analog inputs. So yes, that will do for this video. Hopefully this is giving you some good ideas and good understanding how the I/O cards are wired on the Siemens S300 series PLC. So if you like the video, don't forget to smash that like, do subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you do like what we're doing here. On that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.